What's up, Andrew? You call for a Code Red meeting?
All right, glad you guys can make it. This is a Code Red meeting of utmost urgency. At 0900 this morning, we received a very disturbing threat call from a group that calls themselves the Hello Kitty Gang Gang. They have apparently captured one of the most important agents, Quake.
Again?
What do you mean, again? Anyway, might as well show you guys the video right now.
The Hello Kitty Gang Gang, we have taken Quake prisoner. If you do not give us Kriss Vector within 24 hours, we will kill him. I choose Kriss Vector. I choose Kriss Vector.
Obviously from the video you can see that these guys are armed, dangerous, and probably slightly mentally deranged. And wait, Gambit, where are you going?
Seriously, our top agent, Quake, constantly getting kidnapped like that, obviously he's bored out of his mind, all right? You gotta assign him more jobs. I know exactly where that is. I'm getting him.
Yeah, but why are you taking the Kriss Vector though?
Is he always like this?
Always has been.
Okay. Oh wait, are you SWAT? Shut up, open the door. Open the door now!
Okay. Hey man, good luck. Oh wait, I'm a cop. Hey, hold up! Wait for me!
Alright Gambit, we want this to be a clean mission with minimum casualties on all sides, okay? Wait, what's going on? Report on me right now.
Don't worry about it.
Don't take off your head. Do not take off your headset. Every single time.
Ah, I see you finally brought my Kriss Vector. Wait, hang on a minute. You're Gambit from...
Dude, Quake, this is a walk in the park for you. Why do you keep on getting yourself in this situation? Really? What are you doing here? Hashtag another day, another slay? Hashtag got him? Can we just go, dude? Jesus Christ. Every single week.
What did I miss? Oh well, I guess I'm getting promoted.
The Kriss Vector, quite literally one of the most recognizable submachine guns of the 21st century. First produced in 2009, rest in peace Mac, the Kriss, named after the jagged Indonesian dagger, was designed to maintain muzzle control on full auto, whilst firing the larger 45 ACP rounds through the use of a unique mechanically directed recoil system in order to eliminate muzzle rise. Whilst it hasn't seen much adoption in military and law enforcement, the Kriss's unique sci-fi profile has made it a favourite in movies and video games as well as the civilian market. In Airsoft, however, the Kriss first came into being in the form of the K2A Kriss Vector GBB 10 years ago. However, due to a combination of licensing and patent disputes, it ended up only retailing for about 6 months before production ended in 2013. The Kriss remained a rare enigma in Airsoft until Krytac, a subsidiary of Kriss USA, released an AEG version which we reviewed back in 2016. But there's always this sort of yearning for the return of a proper GBB Kriss back into the sport. Until now! Hi, I'm Andrew, and in this week's very special video, I'll be reviewing the decade-long anticipated Krytac Kriss Vector GBB. Now, as you may know, Krytac is a subsidiary of Kriss USA, who made the real Kriss. So you can pretty much be sure that this is the most realistic Kriss Vector you can get. Now on first impressions, you have the classic Kriss profile, which is a little different from most guns, with the grip and the trigger over here, situated directly behind the chamber and above the muzzle. It's not really an issue, but it does mean that when you're holding the gun, it's a sort of much tighter stance than had the trigger been situated lower, like with most, say, M4s. Balance is also something to note, as with all the mechanisms up front over here, the Kriss is very front heavy. So prepare your left arm for a bit of a workout for longer games. And now to the externals. The Krytac Kriss Vector GBB's body and stock is constructed out of the same fiber-reinforced polymer as the real thing, and held together by a combination of push pins and hex screws across the body. Build quality is unsurprisingly excellent, and the gun feels rock solid, being built to tight tolerances with zero flex and wobble when you feel it. Furthermore, as this is made by Krytac, a subsidiary of Kriss USA, you can expect this replica to have all the correct license markings to make this the most accurate looking Kriss airsoft gun out there. So let's start at the front. The Kriss Vector features a pretty stubby 6-inch barrel with a 40mm CCW thread covered by this thread protector for all your barrel accessory needs. Surrounding the barrel are two short Picatinny rails on the 3 and 6 o'clock position, with space for an additional rail on the 9 o'clock position if you so wish. On top is, naturally, a full-length monolithic top rail, equipped with removable folding front and rear adjustable aperture sights with variable ranges. Though, let's face it, you're absolutely going to put your own fancy optics on this baby. Now just underneath the rail, you have the fire control levers. Now, unlike most rifles and SMGs, the safety and change levers on the Kriss are separate, with the ambidextrous safety lever over here in the rear being next to the trigger, going from up for safe to down for fire, while the ambidextrous change lever placed further forward next to the ejection port can be switched from semi to round burst and then fun mode. For guys used to the operation of conventional platforms like ARs, AKs and MP5s, this separation of fire controls might take a bit of getting used to, with the safety operated by your primary hand while the change lever is adjusted using your offhand. However, as I was raised on the ergonomic horror show that is the SA80, this Kriss is comparatively intuitive, with a non-ambidextrous, non-reciprocating charging handle, which folds out on the left here to make ready when loading in a new magazine. Now underneath that is the non-ambidextrous bolt hold and release. Push the rear tab with the bolt held open to keep open, and then push the forward tab to release when done. Underneath those is a non-ambidextrous magazine release located in the front of the lower receiver, amongst these sort of rib serrations, ideal for holding on while shooting. Over to the rear is the grip and the trigger. The trigger action is very nice and also has a nice solid reset. No complaints here. But if you flip the gun over and open this tiny little hatch over here, you'll find a very unique looking Allen key. Yes, this Allen key is used to adjust the Krytac Kriss Vector's TDC hop-up, located conveniently on the top rail over here, and the dial shape of the key makes it very good at precise adjustments to the hop you want. And once you're done, just pop the key back into its holder. Over to the rear, and we got ourselves a right side folding skeleton stock. Now push this button here to fold it for easy storage or concealment. The butt pad though is made of a very, very hard rubber, and the stock features an ambidextrous sling mount underneath right over here. It's not the most comfortable stock out there, but it's very solid and will do the job well enough. In addition, keeping in line with the trend set by Krytac's Maxim 9, the Krytac Kriss Vector GBB comes with an ultra-light 60-round aluminium magazine. Seriously, as I said with the Maxim 9, this trend of aluminium GBB magazines needs to become a trend, as the weight reduction makes a massive difference, especially for a front-heavy gun like this one. Now the externals of the Krytac Kriss Vector GBB are nice enough to know, but this is a Kriss, and the real fun is what lies inside. Thankfully, as this is a sample from Krytac, I can just take it apart and show you. Now first, pull back the bolt, and then push out these 4 push pins on the receiver, using something like a pen if it gets sort of stuck. And then you will be greeted with what I can only describe as a very unique clockwork looking recoil mitigation system, consisting of a horizontal moving bolt over here, connected to a vertically oriented inertia block down here at the bottom. Now the idea behind this is that as the bolt is blown back by the firing action of the gun, it also pushes this inertia block downwards, transferring energy down instead of backwards and up like in most traditional firearms. ensuring that the muzzle remains steady during full auto. Obviously, recoil isn't really an issue in airsoft, but this does go to show that the Krytac Kriss Vector GBB perfectly replicates the recoil system used on the real Kriss Vector, giving this a level of authenticity to this replica that is completely impossible with something like, say, an AEG. And now to the price. At $400 US, the Krytac Kriss Vector GBB sits around the sort of mid-range of affordability when it comes to GBB rifles and submachine guns. But this is surprisingly low for a gun of this kind of build quality and unique features. Not to mention that this is an absolute steal compared to the obscene prices that some 10-year-old KWA Vectors are being sold on the secondary market. Speaking of the KWA Vector, some of you might be wondering how the Krytac Vector GBB compares to the KWA Vector. Well, you see, I'm glad you asked, as we actually have one right over here. Now, Tim did do a full review of the KWA Kriss 10 years ago, but half the video ended up getting muted by YouTube over copyright music, which is why it's no longer online, so thanks for that, YouTube. So let's get to the details. The KWA is based on the version 1 Kriss Vector from 2009, while the Krytac is the updated version 2 Vector first introduced in 2015. Overall, both Krisses are largely the same, though there are some minor differences, such as the Krytac not having a foregrip and has a less glossy finish, with the grip and the trigger of the Krytac having been simplified compared to the KWA. Most importantly, the swing angle of the safety lever of the Krytac has been reduced from 120 to 45 degrees, making it far easier to actuate and switch back with your dominant hand. And let's not forget, most importantly, the super useful TDC hop-up of the Krytac, instead of having to use a proprietary tool to adjust the KWA's hop-up, which is located right inside the chamber. Shooting-wise, the KWA has a bit more of a kick, likely due to the bolt and inertial bolt being a bit heavier. However, that does mean that the Krytac will be more gas efficient and thus have a higher rate of fire. So the Krytac Kriss Vector pretty much appears to be the exact thing we've been waiting for 10 years. But, as always, how does it shoot? Let's head to the range and find out. And now for the Chrono. As usual, we'll be firing 0.2 gram BBs using green gas.
So here we are at landing zone at their 30-meter range. We have got our target set up today roughly about 50 meters away, since the barrel in the Kriss Vector is actually quite small. So let's see how it does. 10 shots on target with the Vector. Let's go. Come on, safe. Yeah, okay. That is actually quite fun. The recoil on this is actually quite flat. I think that's just due to because of the mechanism where it's going down. But overall, it's quite nice. It feels very snappy. The trigger on this is very, very tactile. I get a nice click with the reset as well, which is very, very nice. All right, anyway, let's go check out the results. Okay, so results are okay. We've got 1 down here, that's a flyer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I did see one that kind of went up, I think. So we'll count that one as a flyer as well. And this one. But overall, the grouping is not too bad from 50 meters away. Again, my aim is absolutely terrible. So take that into account, and I'm using iron sights. But overall, not bad from a small barrel in that Kriss Vector. So yeah, let's give you an idea of what the full auto and burst will be like. Move this target out of the way and we'll shoot directly down to the end, and you can see roughly about what the distance is you'll get out of the Kriss Vector. All right, so let's do a quick kind of range test for the Kriss Vector. We're going to do a couple on semi, a couple on burst, and a couple on full auto, and it should give you a rough idea of how far the Kriss Vector can shoot. So the black barricade down there is roughly about 35 meters away. Let's see how it does. So a couple on semi first. Let's do burst. And full auto. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so that's it for the range test here at Landing Zone. Let's head back to the studio.
And we're back. So at this point, it's pretty obvious that a Krytac Kriss Vector pretty much lives up to the decade-long hype of finally providing us with a proper Kriss Vector GBB that will hopefully have a longer production run. In terms of externals, this fully licensed replica is a fully one-to-one representation of the real thing. But the best part is the immense effort taken to replicate the uniquely complex internals of the Kriss as well, which translates to a very unique shooting experience. Performance is also excellent, with the Vector being easy to use, accurate, and gas efficient, allowing you to expend that massive 60-round magazine. At $400 US, the Krytac Vector is also surprisingly affordable for GBB of this build quality and renown, making it readily accessible to plenty of players. All in all, we give the Krytac Kriss Vector an unsurprisingly outstanding 5 out of 5 stars. It may have taken a decade to finally come, but by God, it sure is worth it. So let's hand it over to you guys. What are your thoughts on the Krytac Kriss Vector GBB? Let us know in the comment section below. And for these cool products and many more, visit us at www.redwolfairsoft.com. This is Andrew, out.